Thank you, Jessica. Tonight we're digging into a government program that has you paying for people to get free cell phones.
It's called Lifeline, and your monthly bill includes a fee to pay for it. WMBF News reporter Brendan Herring live in the studio tonight to explain this program and why some say it's now out of control.
Yeah, while many people may have never heard Lifeline, many of you may recognize it by another name. Obama phones. Well, that's a nickname that's actually based on a misconception, and it's just one thing we're explaining about the program so that you can understand what you're paying for every month, whether you want to or not. These days, almost everyone has a cell phone or a landline or both, which means everyone, including those with prepaid plans, is paying a universal service fee on the monthly bill. It's easy to overlook, but it adds up to nearly $2 billion a year going to the government's Lifeline program, which helps the poor get phone service.
I'd have to probably spend like over $200 and some on a regular cell phone each month. I don't have $200 and some.
Lifeline started in the mid-'80s as a discount for people who couldn't afford a phone, and the program has expanded to provide free cell phones with free or discounted monthly plans. It's become more widespread in recent years, which may explain the association with President Obama. South Carolina began Lifeline cell phone service in 2010.
Because I can't afford to get a cell phone, it was very useful for my daughter being in school. You know, if I'm out and about, her teachers can call me on it, her doctor can call me. If I need an emergency, it always has 911 for free.
Melanie Rockwell already qualifies because she's in another federal assistance program such as food stamps. This year, nearly 140,000 South Carolinians are using Lifeline.
It's just turned into another part of the nanny state, I would call it, where everybody seems to want everything for free.
Self-described government watchdog Ronald Hughes believes Lifeline has moved beyond its intended purpose, and reported abuse across the country only fuels his fire.
Get your free government phones today!
There's a one per household limit for Lifeline, but some companies have been aggressive in getting more customers, even those who don't qualify, because they get reimbursed for each one. In South Carolina, the kickback breaks down to $12.75 for each customer. That adds up to $1.7 million for the South Carolina alone.
It was well-intentioned when it started, but the problem was what it's morphed into.
So we came to Columbia to talk to state regulators about how they prevent abuse of the Lifeline program.
We have not seen that type of behavior in South Carolina. We have seen it in other states.
Dawn Hipp with South Carolina's Office of Regulatory Staff says South Carolina has been more restrictive than the Federal Communication Commission's national guidelines, and her office keeps a close eye on the Lifeline providers.
We're looking to make sure that what they're reporting here on the state level matches what they're reporting to the FCC for South Carolina, so that they're getting the exact reimbursement that they should. Trying to close the loop, which is something that the FCC hasn't been able to do.
But just because her office hasn't heard about some abuses doesn't mean they're not happening. That's why the FCC introduced an overhaul of Lifeline that's supposed to cut down on spending and catch fraud. The goal for 2012 is to reduce the cost by $200 million nationwide. New databases will show who's eligible and who already has a free phone.
What I can offer is a balance. You know, that you're not paying any more in taxes or USF fees than you should have to. The bare minimum to support what's going on in South Carolina for those individuals that need it.
Some say the overhaul can't do enough to get the Lifeline program on track.
Something else for free, and I just think that it needs to have some limitations to it.
So now there's a bill introduced in Washington, D.C. that would take the program back to its original format, landline discounts only, and no free cell phones. And right now, as the FCC works to fix Lifeline, there are also plans to provide broadband internet service for low-income Americans. So with that bill under consideration to make drastic cuts, now is the time to tell your U.S. congressmen and senators if you think the cell phone service is important and worth saving, or if it needs to go away. Live in the studio.